And to be clear, I am not suggesting anybody do this, nor is this instructions. Please do not eat your plants. Welcome back to the menagerie. Today I'm going to be talking about Alocasia, their pollinators, the oldest Alocasia, conditions they have, just a bunch of fun facts about them. Alocasia are primarily pollinated by a specific genus of fly called Colocasia, and occasionally they're pollinated by beetles. But these flies have only been observed on aroid flowers like philodendrons, monsteras, colocasia, etc. Alocasia and flies actually have a symbiotic relationship because the flowers provide food, shelter, and a place to reproduce for the flies. And in return, obviously, the flies pollinate the alocasia flowers. On the topic of flowers, the true name for alocasia flowers and any other one in the aroid family is an inflorescence. This is because it is actually a cluster of flowers instead of one single flower. Alocasia has what's called a floral chamber that is usually covered by a spathe. The Alocasia genus is much larger than people realize. There are over 160 recorded species and cultivars, which doesn't include over 110 recorded hybrids. Although not all of these plants exist in present day anymore, but the majority of them do. But there are still more species being discovered and hybridizers creating new Alocasia. Sometimes Alocasia put out this weird little growth that kind of looks like a stunted or dried up leaf. This is called a cataphyll, and it essentially acts like armor or protection for the new leaf coming in. Although it may look abnormal the first time you see it, it's a perfectly normal thing, and it's actually a sign that new growth is coming and your plant is healthy. When the new leaf fully emerges, the cataphyll may dry up and fall off as it's not needed anymore. Alocasia cucullata is older than the Alocasia genus itself. The earliest record of this plant is from 1790, where it was first described under the name Arum cucullatum. The Alocasia genus was established almost 100 years later in the 1880s. And of course, after this establishment, this plant was reclassified as Alocasia cucullata. This isn't really a fun fact, but it's something you should know if you have alocasia or aroids of any kind. Alocasia have microscopic, needle-like crystals in their stems and leaves called calcium oxalate crystals. When stems or leaves break, these crystals are exposed and embed themselves in your skin. This can cause a stinging or burning sensation, so if you prune your plants, take rhizome cuttings, or peel corms, which you shouldn't be doing, it would be a good idea to wear gloves and wash your hands after handling. It's also really important not to let your pet chew or eat your plants. Calcium oxalate crystals can cause kidney issues, drooling, vomiting, swelling in the mouth and throat, and in severe cases, kidney damage and airway swelling. And this might sound contradictory to the previous statement, but in some countries, they eat alocasia. Not every or even most alocasia species can be eaten, but Alocasia macrorhizos is one that can. It's prepared by removing leaves, stems, and roots and boiling the rhizome for a long period of time to break down the calcium oxalate crystals. And to be clear, I am not suggesting anybody do this, nor is this instructions. Please do not eat your plants. Alocasia are prone to a condition called oedema, and it appears as these wet-looking patches on the backs of the leaves. This happens when a plant's roots take in more water than they can transpire or expel. So water builds up in the cells, causing them to burst and essentially creates a blister in the plant. Edema itself isn't harmful to your plants, but it can be a sign that your watering schedule is inconsistent. This most often occurs when you let your plant completely dry out before watering again. This can also happen more often if you water your plants at night or keep them in semi-hydro. Plants use way less water in the dark, and the pores that aid in transpiration close at night, so there's a higher chance of fluid building up in the cells. But again, it's not detrimental. Alocasia flowers go through a process called thermogenesis. This means that they produce heat to attract pollinators. The heat helps radiate their scent and pretty much tells their flies and beetles, hey, I'm over here. The flower cycle of an alocasia is actually in sync with their pollinator's reproductive cycle to attract specific pollinators. And it would not be an alocasia video without talking about the alocasia queen, Larry Garner. Like I mentioned in my 4 controversial alocasia video, she is the most prolific alocasia hybridizer in the world. Many of her hybrids are some of the most popular in cultivation today. Some of her hybrids include Alocasia portora, Lowrider, Tiny Dancers, Dark Star, Calidora, Imperial Giant, Imperial Red, Giant Zebra, Grim Reaper, and Regal Shields. She is also attributed to Alocasia winky, formerly known as Wenty, and Alocasia serendipity. Pretty much anything that's a cross with an odora was a hybrid by her. A little bonus fact is that her hybrid Regal Shields is often referred to as the holy grail of Alocasia hybrids. Its parentage is Alocasia odora x Black Velvet, and due to differences in size and growing conditions, it was amazing this was successful. And this hybrid is not successful when the parent plants are reversed. Alocasia Regal Shields is a great example of heterosis, which is when a being has a perfect split of traits from both parents. And that's all I have for this week, but I post a video every Friday, which reminds me, here's your sneak peek into next week's video. And I hope to see you there.